What up, everyone? I am the Comic Outlaw, coming to you live and loud from my own little secret location, traveling around from this strand of the multiverse to the next. And it's Funko Time. Of course, it's Funko Time. And I picked a doozy for you this time. Now, as you watch my show, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but I'm more of a fan of his Rogues Gallery. I loved the Sinister Six when I was a kid. Every time the Sinister Six was on Spider-Man, she was like, yes! It's the same way for the Flash Rogues. I think both factions are really good in their own ways. They have different ways of running things, different power sets, different motivations, but very cool. And today, I got the Lizard, Doc Connors himself, former teacher to Peter Parker. It seems like everyone that Peter Parker, in the early days, he was either a professor or teacher or someone he admired, and they became an evil mutant, or they became like a mad, multi-armed, waving egomaniac, or his best friend's dad ends up being a raving lunatic flying around in a goblin suit. It's just the early comic books had a lot of tropes in them, very enjoyable tropes, and I guess kind of cool and different for the time. And I'm not complaining. I love it. I love the characters, and I always found Connors interesting. Connors has been in almost every incarnation of the show, cartoons. I think he made a movie. Yeah, he made a movie appearance in the Spider-Man That We Don't Talk About movie. And one of my favorites was the early animation when they did the 90s. I thought they did a good job of fleshing him out. He's been a good guy, he's been a bad guy. Sometimes he has his own brain, sometimes it's a lizard brain, if you know what I'm saying. He becomes the Lizard King and he thinks that he could do anything. But let's open Doc Connors up and see what he's about. Now, of course, there's different, if you read the comics, the cartoons and stuff, I'll give you the long and short of it. He tries healing his arm because he's one-armed with a regeneration using the DNA of lizards. Now, either it's a potion, a laser beam, what have you, he ends up somehow irradiating himself. And not only does his arm grow back, but he ends up turning into this thing. Which he's a sympathetic character, because he's not in control of his faculties. Well, like I said, sometimes he is, but when he's the lizard creature, he's not. He's like this evil, hungry, bloodthirsty, semi-intelligent creature. Well, let's check him out. Boom. Very cool. Very classic. Got the tail back there. Has that nice look to it. I like the big yellow Funko eyes. Of course, Marvel, bobblehead. Some of the DCs don't do that, which is annoying. I think you got to get your money's worth if you're paying for something. Right, Connors? Yep. I recommend the Marvel Funkos. Very cool. This one looks very cool. The head's a little skelly, but man, it's a Funko. I mean, they make everything bigger, especially around the head area. The coat, it got the look, the teared off stuff, the classic purple pants, the look from the animated series, which I do love. And if you haven't checked out the 90s anime series, I highly recommend it. Nothing against Ultimate Spider-Man or any of the new stuff, but it did pave the way. It tells a great storyline, and it tells a very cohesive story. And if you want to see some of the best of Doc Connors, I'd check that out. As always, this is the Comic Outlaw. I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.